Getting started with GoGuardian Teacher. You can find a step-by-step guide to getting started with GoGuardian by going to tinyurl.com/EBR GoGuardian. Let's get started. After you open up your Google Chrome browser, you're going to type in the Omnibox teacher.goguardian.com. On the GoGuardian website, you won't type in any information. You'll choose the option to log in with Google. If it does prompt you to type anything in after this, you'll type in your EBR credentials. The next thing we'll need to do is add some classrooms. So we'll choose the Classroom tab and then add Classroom. We won't type any manual information here. We'll click on the button at the bottom that says Add Google Classroom. Now, this does mean that you need to make sure you have had Google Classroom all set up and your students added. At any time, if you get a new student to Google Classroom, you will have to resync with Google Classroom. So we'll click on Add Google Classroom and then choose the class that you want to add. Keep in mind that if you are a co-teacher for Google Classroom, you won't be able to add the class here. You'll need to have the main teacher add you as a co-teacher in GoGuardian. And then you'll have the class that you choose synced in GoGuardian. This is your classroom page. So you'll see here all of the active classes that you have in GoGuardian after you add them. A session is the period of time that you're monitoring the student devices. To start a session from the classrooms screen, you'll simply click on the class that you want to monitor. Then start a new session. You have some options here. You first need to choose when you want the class to be over. Don't worry, if you find that you're running out of time, you can extend the time from right in the session. You'll then need to apply a scene to this session. And a scene is the filtering option. So you have the ability to filter different websites and do things like limit the amount of tabs that your students want to have open. But in this session, I choose not to apply a scene. You have the option of excluding students from the session if you want to, but then you'll just click on Start Session. Then you'll see all of your different student screens that are active. I even have the ability to monitor several sessions at a time by just going to Classrooms again, and then choosing the next class that I want to monitor. Let me show you how you can apply a scene to a session. So here I'm going to start new session, choose how long I want my session to be, and then I'm going to apply a scene to this session. So I'm going to choose in this box to create a scene, and this menu will pop up. So from here, I have the options of changing the pattern or a little picture icon to go along with my scene. Then I need to name it. So you can name your scene to maybe test if you want that testing environment, or you can name it to match each class. And then you have the option to have a description along with each scene. Further down, here are your filters. So you have two options, allow mode or block mode. Allow mode is all of your websites will be allowed except for the ones below. So if I have that switch on, I can type in the websites that I want to be blocked and add those. In blocked mode, all websites will be blocked except for those allowed below. This would be great if you want to have all websites blocked except one. For example, if you want to set up an online test on one website, you can add that here. For now, for just demonstration purposes, I'm going to choose allow mode, and I'm going to block this single website. And then add site. So this means that none of my students will be able to access this website while the scene is applied. So I'm going to also scroll down just a little bit and show you some tab management. So we have some options here. If I apply this scene, I can create a list of tabs or websites that I want automatically open at the start of a session. And I can also choose the maximum number of tabs that I want my students to have open. So I can set a max limit of tabs here. It will restrict my students from doing any extra browsing and opening any more tabs than I allow them to. And then I'll click on the blue button that says Save Scene. And then in this area, I can choose the scene that I want to apply to the session. As you can see, I have numerous sessions opened here because I can see the different titles of my classes. So I can switch between monitoring each one by clicking on the name of my student's class. Over on the left side, I can see some options. I can see all of my classrooms again and choose if I want to monitor several ones of them at a time. I can go to scenes and choosing to add a scene there, or even seeing all of the scenes that I've already created. There is a calendar that I can get an overview of the different sessions that I've had. And I can even schedule new sessions. And then we also have student reports where I can select classes and view past activity. I can even choose a certain student to generate reports of their browsing data. There's also an amazing help section that will give you specific training guides, short videos of different features in GoGuardians, and you can even give GoGuardian some of your suggestions to make it better.